Are
Oh,
you
Jose.
what is Jose doing?
I see him. Want me to send a screenshot?
I think, yeah, Jose, are you for the
Oh, there
podcast?
you
Okay,
go.
there, he's gone. Okay. You're in the show. Everyone can see and hear you.
We're live.
Oh gosh, what a nightmare. Okay. Well, hello. Welcome to Winning Wednesday. Technical difficulties coming in hot. Okay, so Ashley, does it say that you're on the stage or does it say that you are backstage?
It says you're in the show. Everyone can
Okay,
see and hear you.
awesome. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. Super pumped up, super fired up. Not even sure where we're live at, but here we are. So, Winning Wednesday is super awesome because I am going to interview absolute legends, leaders in the industry who are absolutely winning. And something that I find very unique is not just winning in a way of they've had really good success in their past, but they are like seriously crushing it right now, today, in this day and age, in like high ranks. So I'm going to let Ashley share a little bit about herself, but basically, what we're going to talk about today is consistency in business and how to not only stay consistent during times that are hard and slow, but to show up no matter what, because each and every month really does matter. And when you take your foot off the gas, if I were to take my foot off the gas right now today, it wouldn't affect anything that's happening in the next 30 days. It would affect 60, 90 days from right now. So there's a lot of times where I'll be talking to people in the industry and they'll be like, well, Michelle, like, how are you getting over 50,000 points in your customer pod or selling that much? And it's like, well, hey, listen, I haven't seen you show up in the past 6 months. You just showed up 30 days. The last 30 days you've been showing up, and that's it. That's why. So you have to realize that even during slow seasons, it's called separation season. Keep going because the people who are showing up when it is time for the season to blossom, you are going to be the person that someone says yes to. So, Ashley is a dear friend of mine. She's a very inspiring leader. She has an extremely inspiring backstory. Ashley, kind of tell us about your background, how you got started in the industry, where you came from, and what's up. And it's good to see you.
Yes, it's nice to see you. Thank you for having me on here. I'm super excited we got this figured out. So, my name is Ashley. I'm from Colorado, married mom of three, and I had my first child at the age of 19. And then the second was 24 and then 27. So all through my 20s, I was raising babies and taking care of them. And it was boogers and butts and diapers and doctor's appointments and soccer appointment, or, soccer games and all the things. And it was a blast. But crazily enough, like when my husband and I got together, we had decided, he's going to go and he's going to make money and I'll stay home and I'll watch the kids. I didn't have any other previous background. I didn't know of anything else that I could possibly do instead of just pay someone to watch my kids. So a lot of people in my family and some friends were like, well, you're just a stay-at-home mom. You don't make any money. You get to relax and hang out on the couch all day long. And I'm like, wow, you must have never like raised a child. But anyways, and I was raising three. So I kind of had like this little complex behind it. Like people just thought I did nothing all day. Anyways, a friend reached out to me in 2015 and she was like, hey, let's go have like a mom's day. There's this fun little event that we should go to and then we'll go have dinner. And I was just excited somebody asked me to come out and do anything. So I was like, yes. I left the kids with dad and we went to this event that I didn't know. As I walked into the room and there was all these people sitting around the table and they were smelling all these things and talking about these products and how amazing they were. And I was like that right there that day. And I don't even remember the day, but in 2015, I caught the vision of network marketing and like direct sales and all of this and kind of these and how this worked. And I was like, oh my gosh, like you can make money like with these products. You can do it from home. I can still be there for my kids. I can say yes more, like just the fact that I can make more money. I was like, this is perfect. So in 2015, I kind of jumped in for 7.5 years. I was just doing the typical network marketing stuff. We had in-home parties, we had Zoom calls, we had to send out samples. Like we were hustling, but not making very much money. and nobody on my team was making near the money that I was making. And let's see, I actually, fun fact, the same month that Michelle enrolled was the same month I enrolled. Was that 2022? May
22.
2022? Yes. So I saw this man, John Melton, and I'm like, I loved the lifestyle. I loved that he was traveling. He was able to take his kids places, say yes more, create memories. They were dressed all fancy. And I'm like, who are you? What do you do? And well, 2.5, almost, I guess in May, 3 years ago, was when I learned about social retail and dove into that. And I no more home parties, no more Zoom meetings, no more samples, no more complication, no more calling people at the end of the month being like, are you going to place your orders, because if not, I don't make my money. And anyways, it's been a total game changer. And now, I mean, we earned a trip from Cabo, and I got to take my family, and my girls were like, this is a dream vacation. I can't even believe we're here. We went to Kauai this year. I got to take my family to Kauai. um we're looking for a home in Florida. Like it's an amazing vehicle that systems, duplication, leadership, consistency, showing up every single day that I've been able to create and help to support my family with, and I'm obsessed.
Wow. And what were your sales just last month? So for the month of November, just personally, like not anyone, just your own customer sales.
Yes, just my customer pod was 67,000.
67,000. So in the comments, like, what if you could do just like a fraction of that? Like, let's get our customer pod to 10,000. Sell $10,000 worth of products. Tell me that would not be crazy. So, what would you say the biggest reason why your pod for customers or your sales are so high coming into this from 2 years ago, May, to now where you are at, because obviously it's growing and growing and growing. Why would you say that you've had that success? What's like the number one uh, reason why? Maybe there's two reasons why.
Yeah, well, it's gonna sound like a broken record because I feel like anybody that I talk to, they say the same thing. They're like, it's consistency. Because I knew that I wanted to be the person, when someone was thinking of, well, maybe I wanted to drop some weight or something. They're like, oh, that Ashley girl, she's on there every day. She's taking her product, she's using her system, or she's taking the product and she's showing us what she's doing, and she's showing testimonies. And I honestly think if I didn't show up every single day, like, it's not that, like, I don't want people to forget about me, but I do want them to remember me when it comes time for them to get started, and showing up every single day and using my social media like as my accountability. I'm like, hey guys, I'm back. I'm taking my stuff and I'm loving it. And here's my results. And here's my people, my customers' results. And definitely showing up every single day.
You make a really good point because there's so many people out there, and I'm sure you get it all the time. Just today, a woman was like, oh, well, first I need to like hold myself accountable. First, I need to, and it's like, wait, wouldn't it be the perfect scenario when you're using these to hold you
Yes.
accountable, to show up and be able to show you using them? And
Yes.
in the type of industry that we're in now, you don't have to be spamming friends and family.
Right.
You can learn through curiosity marketing. I could take this makeup right here and just put it on here and rub it in my hands without even showing my face and say something like, this foundation is an absolute game changer when it comes to fine lines. Someone can say, well, what is it? And because you, like the industry that we're in, you can literally share a link with them and you can earn a commission off of it. So listen to that, because that is how she literally organically started. Where she previously was, her customer pod wasn't even a fraction of what it is today. And her consistency of showing up on a good day, a bad day, a busy day, an ugly day, I want to ask from the bottom of your heart, is it easy to show up on every single day, or are there days you have to drag yourself to do something? Your energy's low. It's that time of the month. You're in a fight with your partner. Or is it just always you're like, I'm ready to go. Let's go. This is easy.
No, well, no, definitely not. In fact, sometimes like I'll tell my husband, "Gosh, I'm gonna show up. Like, is anyone watching? Or they care?" And he's like, "Just get up, get out of bed. You're gonna make money." Like, luckily, like my husband is all for that. But and there have been some times like when I haven't made it, and then people will message me like, "Where are you at? Are you okay?" And I'm like, "Oh, people really need this. It's not only accountability for me; it's also for them." And yes, showing up good day, bad day, ugly day, like showing up every single day one way or another, multiple ways. There's so many ways we can do it with social media and so many platforms, and you can share the same thing on every single platform and hit a huge variety of people every single day.
And where would you say the number one platform is that you are getting most of your leads? And then on top of that, what are you doing to get those leads? Are you going live? Are you doing reels? Are you starting conversations? What does that look like?
Yeah, so it's kind of hard. I really think my biggest platform's TikTok. I think it's TikTok, but
I
then there's
agree.
yeah, and then getting them I always get them over into Facebook. So this is my like what I want to do. What for December? I told myself for the month of December I'm doing 2 lives a day, one about the product, one about the opportunity, and then I have 2 reels a day. Um, and I share those, and then in my stories, the stories are stories only last 24 hours, but like things like this picture, like screenshot. This is gonna be up in my stories. Like what I'm doing during the day, what I'm eating, the products that I'm taking, things like that. We have something called like a and Michelle has this, right? The business activity tracker. And what is on there is done every single day. Like I'm check marking, I'm following up with people, I'm sending new messages, I'm starting new conversations. All business is conversation. No matter what you're doing, all business is conversation. And those who have the most conversations wins. So it's the conversations and then of course the content. Like I love content creation now. I hated it at first because I didn't know what to do. I Googled my first 6-minute TikTok video, how to make a reel. And then, like, all my reels are pretty basic, but it's really fun to create content now and education for everyone that way.
And that's something that's really unique about Ashley. And the only thing that you really need in this industry is you have to have that coachability component. You have to stay positive. You can't come into this and be like, oh my gosh, I just got a rude message from one of my friends and one of my family members. Because what we have to remind ourselves is Ashley doesn't care what a friend or a family member has to say because they don't have the lifestyle that Ashley wants.
Mhm.
Ashley caught a vivid moment of having some flexibility around her family and having some freedom, and she fell in love with it. I'm sure that, Ashley, did you get started in this to become a multiple six-figure income earner, or did you get started in this because you wanted, how much extra money did you want to make?
So it's funny. I don't even think like I didn't actually have a goal. I was like, I just want to like make money. So like these people that were kind of like making fun of me, like make more money. So they're like, oh, she like I was like purpose and like almost like I wanted to show them I could like make money. I didn't have to do what they did, and now I make more money than all of them combined. It's and it's not even about that, but it is like I guess it's almost like tell me I can't do it, I'm gonna do it. Like I'm gonna show you I can do it, type of attitude.
Yes, no, that's exactly how I am too, and you know it because I'll message you and be like, I don't want to show up right now and I don't want to do this, but I do it anyways. And there are times, isn't it crazy how people can motivate people? I can
Yeah.
go online and I can see someone who I know is winning because Ashley shares it in her stories. See, it'd be different if Ashley was doing like amazing 5 years ago and she was like this amazing person that hit this high rank in a company, but Ashley's
Mhm.
like literally in the midst of it right now, like she
Yes.
does it. She does the do. There's a difference between leaders who talk a talk, but they talk a talk, but also walk the walk. And that's something that's super, super inspiring. So you heard her say, it's not always going to be something you're going to want to do. You're not going to be jumping joy at 5:30 in the morning if this is something that you're doing on the side of a full-time job. It's something that you have to literally jump for joy and be like, I'm doing this because of X, Y, and Z. I don't jump for joy when I get out of my car and run into the gym and sprint and get into a class and go, okay, I'm just like the best part of my day. I do it because sometimes you have to do what it is that you need to do for your life to be better, to dream,
Mhm.
to fulfill, to change a past paradigm of where you're at in your life now is because of something that could have happened 10 years ago. So maybe
Mhm.
you are a nurse and you love what you do. And that's what's amazing about this profession is 80% of people who are doing this are doing it on the side of what it is that they're already doing. And it doesn't interfere with that. And that's the beauty of monetizing the power of social media. But the consistent component has to be in there during every single season.
Mhm.
Ashley doesn't just say, okay, well, it's November, it's the busiest month of the year, and it's Black Friday and it's Cyber Monday, let's go. Ashley showed up all the previous months as well, and December maybe is a slower month. And guess what Ashley's going to do? She's going to keep continuously doing what she just said, the DMOs, the daily method of operations business tracker, and she checks the box because what happens, and it's proven through psychology, is we think that we're doing all of the things.
Mhm.
But when we look back, hindsight 2020, I need to see a check mark because then we start to realize that we're not. A great example is this. For Thanksgiving, I made my famous Lola Grandma's chocolate chip cookies. Okay, I tried to just pull it out, wing it. Okay, didn't use a recipe. I knew what it was, and then they turned out like dog crap. And I went through the recipe book and I'm like, oh my gosh, I missed two of the main ingredients. So you're human. Get sat down, get organized, have hours that you're going to actually dive in and work your business, work it around your life, work it around your career, but know exactly what it is that you're doing. And Ashley, that's something. So, do you just wake up every day? You don't have to have an alarm clock. And this woman is up at like 5 a.m. I'm messaging her on Eastern 6 a.m. or I see her live. Do you think that she has to wake up at 5 a.m.? Her kids are all grown. So what do you do? Like, do you have a schedule? How do you go live on the opportunity one morning and then the night you go for the product? Like, what does that look like?
So I have so I still have two kids in the house, right? But I was like, I've had people tell me like, well, I can't find time to do it. I'm like, do it when your family's sleeping. I get up at 5, I get ready so I don't look like a terrible mess, and we're live by 6 a.m. Sometimes I'll work out prior, whatever. But I'm live at 6 a.m. I try to do that every single morning Mountain Time, and then I will do all of my check marks, my messaging, my follow ups through the day, and then I post my videos, and if I'm making content during the day, which content now can take me, I can do an entire reel and make it and say, have the hashtags and the description. It's saved in my notes, copy and paste in 3 minutes, maybe 5 minutes, 5 minutes max, right? So I can make my videos, I post them in the evening time. And then whenever I can fit that second live in between picking up, dropping off kids, that one's just kind of like a bonus to really help me get more comfortable with sharing my story. I will just fit that in. If it's at noon, it's at noon. If it's at 5, but I just make sure, and I have accountability partners. They tell me, hey, I haven't seen your second live yet. Like, I haven't seen this. And I'm like, okay. And, we're doing this with like with my team, we're doing this with each other. Like, don't forget, I didn't see this yet. So, but a big part of it, as I talk to people who are like, well, I have kids and I have family and oh, my husband doesn't want me. And I'm like, go outside in your car, be in the morning when everyone's sleeping. And so there's a book. By Og Mandino, the greatest salesman in the world. And it says, many have attained great wealth and success with one sales talk delivered with excellence. If you guys have watched Michelle long enough, she does the same dang thing every single morning. Yeah, and she has perfected it, right? So learning that, I'm like, oh, I can literally talk about the same thing every single morning. And it's amazing. Like, yeah, I guess that's how I run my day. And like
So
right now, I have an appointment at 11:45, but I have a call before, so I'm like sitting in the parking lot doing her live. Then I'm gonna have my call. Then I'm gonna do my appointment. Then I'm gonna go home. Like I'm very structured. I got a calendar and all the things, but my kids are gone all day long at school, so it's like I can fit in 8 hours a day, 6 hours a day, no problem.
So, two things, because I want to know what you have to say to the person who's already working a full time career, how they can do these kind of things, how they can batch content. But also, the second thing is, so the night before. You're not just like, okay, well, I have this appointment, and you're like, oh crap, I forgot that I had an appointment. So, how do you stay on track? Do you have timers going off? Do you have a calendar? Do you wake up and look at your schedule on your phone? What keeps you organized with how much you have thrown at you? Because you're busier than the average freaking person that's working a full-time job, that has kids and activities and events. I mean, well, you're in basketball, you're in this, you're in volleyball, you're coaching. So both of those I would like to know how that is and how that looks for the person. Content, like all the things that you're doing, how can
Yep.
the person, and granted, you're doing this full time. No one
Yep.
has doing this part time if they can't do it full time.
Right.
And you're making an income that many people don't even want to dabble into. But what would you have to say to the person who has 4 to 5 hours a week? When can they do these things?
Yeah, so I like that because just like you said, you don't have business. If you can't do this part time, you can't do this full time. Well, I started part time, and in part time, I was like, what can I do? Like, my lives were literally 5 minutes. Like, here's my products. They're amazing. Drop a heart below for details. Done. Anyone can do a live in 5 minutes, right? Anyone can take a picture of their food and what they're doing in their supplements and put it in their stories in pockets. Like, I hear this all the time, like in pockets of your time. Like Michelle's story, she was literally working like 2 jobs. She would find 15 minutes at lunchtime, 15 minutes, first thing in the morning, last thing at night, as soon as she got home before she went to the next job. Like, it's these pockets, and I like batch contenting or batch creating. Now I do it like during the day, like I can just make it. But before, I would sit down for an hour and I had written down, okay, I want to talk about this, and this. So one piece of content for the day, right? And I would record a video and then I would just save it. And then, like, eventually I had the same description, same hashtags for each video, and then everything became a lot easier to do. But batching your content and fitting it in, first thing in the morning, like, I get up before everyone in my house, and then I'm probably the last one to bed. Like, and I know my schedule, what can you fit in? You're like, if you're starting, you probably can't do 2 lives and 2 reels and 15 stories a day, right? At full time, you will be able to. So just start with 1 live and or 1 post or 1 reel. You start 1 B roll. Like, that's huge right now, especially on Instagram. Just start with one thing and then work your way up. Okay, I have more time. Instead of ever, you will never see me like complaining about waiting on my children
Yep.
or waiting in line for food, because I'm like, oh, who can I contact, who can I have a
Yep.
conversation with today, who do I need to message? Like, there's the daily method of operation. Anyone can do it in anywhere from 30 minutes to an hour a day, even if you find 5-minute pocket time zones and check mark, and you're on your way. And then it grows, and then you can do this full time, and you can do 50 videos a day. Eric Worre says you could do 10 videos a day if you want to. I mean, you can do whatever you want. It's your social media. But
I think Gary V or he said the other day like 3 or 4 because I was doing Eric Worre's mastermind and I'm like, oh my gosh, like okay, I need to step my game up. But you made a great point. Anyone who gets started at this, no one's jumping in with both feet. Don't compare yourself to Ashley. Don't compare yourself to me. Comparing yourself to someone literally is the thief of all joy because you're talking someone. Ashley, how much experience do you have in this? I'm 6 years total,
I've
cumulative.
been here. I've been here 10 years.
Okay, so 10 years. So when I got started as a single mom, doing hair out of my basement, cleaning houses on the weekends, and doing HR full time, Sundays I batched my content, and my family knew my vision. Bella knew, like, as much as you're like, but what about your kids? I caught the vision that, like, what I do now, I can be a part of it. I can put this and bite it in the butt for 3 years and have this time where she knows I'm building something that's a willable, sellable asset, and then be there for her for the rest of her life, which I think the most important years are those teen years, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, where I know I'm going to have that flexibility and freedom. So that's what I always said. Instead of hearing people who looked at me and said, well, what about Bella? What about like waking up earlier and do something with her? I thought, no, what about my future with her? Because what I do now is where I'm going to be in 5 years. So Ashley's right. Sundays, I would literally batch content, put Bella in a jumper. She loved Minnie Mouse. And I would literally change my outfit 7 times and I'd figure out what I was going to talk about and I'd do it. Every night, so I didn't have to wake up and do a video while I'm doing my workout, I would do the moves for the next day's workout because my previous company, I was doing fitness challenges, workout videos, and I would literally have them up so the next morning, all I had to do was post, 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 post. Instead of going and complaining up to all the staff at lunch and walking into the cafeteria, I started to pack a lunch and sitting at my desk and working on my phone in a cubicle where people couldn't come and bother me. And before I knew it, I realized after tracking everything I did in 24 hours, I had more than 4 to 5 hours a week. I had an hour every day, and that's when I did a power hour every single day. And it was a pivotal moment where I got to fire every single one of my bosses. It took 24 months, but who gives a crap? 24 months versus where I would be today. Bella's got a game today at 4 o'clock. It's like, who the heck? I'm like, Jeff, are you going to make it? He's like, no. Who can drive somewhere that's on the other side of the planet because she's on travel and be there at 4, let alone get her from school that ends at 2:45? There's just not that flexibility. So I would rather have pinched it in the butt like you have, but most people can't catch that vision and have the grit that you have. So if there's one thing that you had to leave with these people, everyone listening, chiming in, trying to become consistent in every season of their life. Yeah, it's the holidays. People are busy. Yeah, it's, the New Year's coming. People are traveling. You're traveling tomorrow. You're traveling, like, I'm going to Florida for Christmas. Like, how do you keep going? How do you not talk yourself into, okay, well, you're traveling all the time now. So you, out of most people, have to be disciplined more than ever. I'm not saying you should be obsessed and married or anything like that, but small little things every day, an hour or two a day, even when you're traveling, it compounds in your future. So what's one tip that you could give to the person who is inconsistent and who literally takes their foot off the pedal when they don't get people signing up and when they don't have people saying they want to do what it is that they're doing?
Well, I think the one thing actually I can take it away from what you told me, or I heard you maybe in like a training or something like a couple years ago. Find the one thing that you can do every single day, whether it's a live or a reel or something, and do it every single day consistently for 90 days.
Yep.
I picked one reel, one specific educational piece to talk about, and for 90 days I shared it. And finally, it was like the end of 90 days. We were like, we went up to, it was July, 4th of July. We came down off the mountain, and all of a sudden, like that one reel went crazy viral, and then two of the same reels went crazy viral. And it was like, and I'm not saying that's going to happen, but I am saying if you give it 90 days, like that was my result. I gave it 90 days. I did one thing. I really focused on it for 90 days, and then I got really good at it, and then I could do the next step, and then the next. So find your one thing. Like, don't ever be scared to go live. Like, go live, you won't die, right? Like, that was the start of everything. And then I mean, use Chat GPT to find out, what you should be talking about if you don't know, and find that one thing and do it every single day. You just have to be consistent and know like the compound effect for what you're doing now. Someone can be watching you right now, and then 90 days or 4 years later, they're like, okay, I've been watching you. Like, you seem pretty legit. Like, let's do this. And like, I mean, it hasn't been 4 years, but it's been 2.5 years. And I just had someone 2 days ago who was like, I've been watching you since like the very beginning and I'm ready to get started. And I'm like, heck yes. Like, if I would have stopped, that would have never happened. So you definitely need to see the future in things and give it a good 90 days, everything you're doing. If you've been doing it for 90 days and it's not working, then kind of switch it up. See what you're doing next. As you're following Michelle, you're going to know exactly what it is you need to be doing anyway. So do what Michelle
Yes.
says.
No, you're awesome, Ashley. And the thing is if you just have your DMO and you just have a running tail of you being consistent, reaching out to the same amount of people you did when it was a fast season or a busy season, nothing's going to change. And in the end, it's all going to work out because everything has ebbs, everything has flows, everything has ups, and everything has downs. So you guys, you're getting advice and tips literally for absolute free from someone not only who has 50,000 worth of customer sales, but you're talking someone who's also recruiting 10 plus people every single month to come do what it is that she is doing. So if you could just take an ounce of what it is that she is doing, the reach outs, the reels, the lives, the content, the value she puts out there, make sure to follow her. Your business is going to start to thrive and blossom because this is real fact stuff that she's actually doing this day and age, and it is actually working. So Ashley, you're awesome. Thank you so much. It was
Awesome.
so much fun. Keep crushing it, and goodbye.
Thank you. Goodbye.